Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. Myself, Jason, bringing you today whiskey review into the Ardbeg 10-year-old. So, I picked up the Ardbeg Core range before I went to India, sat down, reviewed the whiskies, and then I wasn't happy with my videos and couldn't upload them because I was in India, so it's long story short. Now I'm back 4 weeks later, and we're going to get into some whiskey reviews. Now I'm going to be doing the Ardbeg Core range, so the 10, the Uigeadail, the Corryvreckkan. I've got Dalmore stuff over there, Talisker stuff over there. I've got a lot of videos to film today, and probably only going to get through half of those because it's about keeping a focused mind on the videos. So anyway, Ardbeg 10, we're going to review it today. It's one of the core expressions from Ardbeg, and they do have the 10, the Uigeadail, the Corryvreckkan, and now another one which has joined the core range called the An Oa. So 4 whiskies comprise to make the Ardbeg Core range. If you're wondering about my shirt, I've got a shirt that says I Heart Peat. I didn't make it, I just got given it, so I thought I'd wear it. Now we're joined back by Mr. Bananas after 4 weeks of not seeing this guy. He's back, he's doing whiskey notes, because whilst I was away not touching alcohol, he was here writing all these notes. Good Mr. Bananas, and he's had a few drinks as well. So let's get into the review style structure. We're going to start out with the age of the whiskey, which it is a 10-year-old whiskey, bottled out an ABV of 46%. The cask selection are first fill and second fill, ex-bourbon casks. The distillery itself is the Ardbeg Distillery, which you see over here. We are actually going there at some point this year. I think May, June, I think, I'll be in Islay. So we should be able to go and visit them at the Ardbeg Distillery. Parent company are LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, and they're located in Islay, Scotland. And they're actually located very close to the neighbours and competitors of Laphroaig and Lagavulin. Now, the price on this bottle is around about £40 to £45 here in the United Kingdom. It can vary, and I've seen it in some places for €40, even $42. So it can be cheaper depending on where you go around the world. I got it part of this, so for £45, I got everything in this set, the Uigeadail and the Corryvreckkan, because I thought it'd be kind of cool to sit down and check them all, instead of just going and buying a bottle and then saying, I don't like this, I'm left with it. So it's one of the better ways, and I do recommend, if you're new to Islay or Peated Whiskies, get this Explorer set. I think you can find it online. You should be able to find it actually off Amazon as well. And it'll give you a sort of stepping stone into peated whiskies. Now, in terms of exclusivity, it's not exclusive, and caramel colouring, there is none added, and it is non-chill filtered, as it quite distinctively says on the front. So, I've got my dram poured, it's natural colour. We will assess the colour of this whiskey. It was a dram when I started. So, I'm going to say this is like on the lines of a straw gold. It's quite light, and as it is natural colour from bourbon casks, I'm not expecting it to be too dark. Let's get into the actual nosy of the whiskey. Into the nose. So to start on the nose for the Ardbeg 10, this one's got a very distinctive peated character, which if you try different Islay whiskies, you will pick it up quite frequently. It's quite like a clean peat, not an earthy, muddy. It's very clean on the nose. The next note that comes to mind is almost like a black olive. A very sort of rich black olive, quite with quite a bit of tannins in it. And follow this up by a black pepper. I was thinking cloves, like a dark cloves, but it's not got that same sort of little sweetness that I get sometimes with cloves. It's got a very sort of distinctive peppery spice that's coming through. It's almost like you've heated up these black peppers so they sort of just really just brought out all those additional flavours coming from them. There is a slight note on the end of this one which is almost like as if you burnt a piece of wood and you just left it. That sort of charred wood aspect. And it does also even combine this with a little bit of a minerally note. I'd probably even add a slight espresso, like a freshly brewed espresso, that aroma that's coming out on this one on the nose. And there is a slight citrusy character. I was going to say lemon, but more on the lesser lines of lime. I want to say it's like a lime juice, with a bit of lime pip included, just giving that little bit of extra bitterness. Bitter souriness. That's so good. Anyway, let's get into the palate. Into the palate, Slanger. You're instantly greeted by a peat explosion. I would have said a bit of normal peat, but this is like a peat explosion. It just sort of went off the middle of the palate, went off the back palate, and boof, it's out there. as the peaty flavours go through, the texture on this one starts out quite light, quite watery almost. The texture develops ever so slightly, but it's nothing like a very full, rich, viscous whiskey. And that's something I like about this one, where that peat really just works well with that lightness. You're getting that bit of sea spray coming through, that briny saltiness. This is almost as if you get just been hit in the face by a bit of sea spray. And it's followed up there by an array of spices. I'm talking about a bit of cinnamon, a bit of sweet spice, cloves, black pepper, star anise. And it leads off and it finishes with a little bit of a warming spice just on the end, maybe ginger, as it sort of just now makes way for those softer and the fruity characters. But first thing I'm getting after those characters, before we get into the fruity notes, is black licorice. Almost black licorice laces. If you ever had those when you go to the sweet shops, that's the first thing I'm getting. And now it makes way for almost a fruity character like poached pears. And there is something right on the back end, which I'm going to have a second sip because it's just hanging there. I got it from the second sip. Apricots. It's like dried apricots that have been dusted with a little bit of sea salt, giving you that little bit of sweet, juicy, fruity character, but at the same time, that saltiness which just sort of works its way into the palate. Let's now move into the finish and come to our conclusions on the Ardbeg 10. So, into the finish for the Ardbeg 10. The finish of this one is long. It sort of holds itself out there. The spices are sort of playing now on the side of the palate, mid-palate, front of the palate. And as those spices are fading, a little bit of sweetness comes through, but that peaty smokiness is holding itself very strong, very solid. It's not budging. It's almost like you've got a piece of charred wood on your palate, but you're not getting the woody notes. You're getting that little bit of char, that phenolic smell. And one thing that comes to mind is almost if you've taken a match, you've lit it, and then you've blew it out. That sort of smell from a matchstick that's just been burnt. Really nice whiskey all in all. I'm going to give my rating. I actually really like that one a lot. So, Ardbeg 10, I'm giving this one an 88 out of 100. In terms of value for money, around about £40. I think that's superb, because nowadays too many whiskies are now pushing up into that £60 bracket here in the UK, which I think is just not really necessary, but they're keeping that one at a reasonable price. Value for money, yes. In terms of does it need water, it's completely optional to yourself, or time. Time, it's a young whiskey, so it doesn't really need so much time, but if you do want to give it and try it out, by all means, let me know your thoughts. But overall, I really like that consistency of that peaty character throughout. At the same time, that bit of black olives, which is one of my favourite sort of things to eat on the side. And that charred wood smoky character, which sort of has remained consistent along with that brininess. Really great stuff. Let me know your thoughts. If you tried the Ardbeg 10, do you like it? At the same time, I'm going to leave some videos over here on the Uigeadail and the Corryvreckkan when I do upload them. And also be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, because I think we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers now, which is kind of cool. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. If you have enjoyed, drop it a like. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. And there's been JasonWhiskyWise. Mr. Bananas has actually been very silent. And we'll catch you all for the next video. Sláinte.